We are back in session at 9:35. Okay, we are going to do number 8, consider and take possible action regarding items discussed in closed session. Consider and take possible action regarding the proposal non-renewal of a term contract of a campus principal and non-renewal procedures. Can I have a motion?
Motion. Second.
Second? What's your motion? What's your motion?
My motion, I move to approve the recommendation of the superintendent to propose the non-renewal of the employment contract of Carolyn Ross and to authorize the superintendent or his designee to prepare and deliver the notice of proposed non-renewal as required by law. Should the employee request a hearing on the proposed non-renewal, I further move that the non-renewal hearing be conducted by the board. Second.
No, it's already seconded. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Those opposed?
Opposed.
Mr. Mencius was opposed. Can we have a motion for the second?
Yes, motion.
Okay, second?
Second.
Second, Mr. Salinas.
I move to authorize the council selected to advise and assist the board in connection with any non-renewal hearings to impose, in consultation with the board president, any procedural rules involving a non-renewal hearing, in addition to those set out in board policy DFBB local, including but not limited to requiring and establishing deadlines for exchanging proposed exhibits and written objections to proposed exhibits.
Any discussion? All in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed?
Opposed.
Mr. Mencius was opposed. Okay. We're going to, personnel, just C. Okay, we're going to 5C. Consider and take actions regarding approving the personnel report and updates, including new hires, resignations, and administrative appointments. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Great, we're good. Okay. We're going to go to 4A. Yes, sir. Okay. I'm going to read them. If you want it pulled, say pull, please. 4A, consider and take action regarding approving minutes from the regular board meeting held December 17th and December 17, 2015, and January 21st, 2016. 4B, consider and take action regarding approving monthly financial information as of April 30th, 2016.
Full.
C, consider and take action regarding approving the expenditures equal to or greater than $50,000.
Full.
D, consider and take action regarding approving budget transfers across functions. E, consider and take action regarding approving submission of the applicated 2016 tax collectible rate as certified by the tax assessor collector for the Judson Independent School District. F, consider and take action regarding approving request for proposal 16-17 for menu management software. G, consider and take action regarding approving policy update 104 affecting local policies. These are second readings. G1, EEH local instructional arrangements, homebound instruction. G2, FB local equal educational opportunity. G3, FD local admissions. G4, FFC local student welfare student support services. G5, FFH local student welfare, freedom from discrimination, harassment, and retaliation. And that's those. Okay, so we are going to vote on A, D, E, F, G. Do I have a motion? Where's H? Oh, I'm sorry. Okay. We're flipping. Okay, H, consider and take action regarding approving Texas Educational Agency, TEA, expended waiver for the foreign exchange students. I, consider and take action regarding approving Texas Educational Agency, TEA, expedited waiver for staff development. J, consider and take action regarding approving the modified schedule state assessment days waiver. Consider and take action regarding approving 2016-17 second student fees. L, consider and take action regarding approving a shared service agreement with Education Service Center Region 20 to form a cooperative to operate a regional day school program for the deaf. Okay, now we're going to vote. So we are going to voting on 4A, D, E, F, G, H, I, J, K, and L. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Do I have a second? Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We're going to 4B, consider and take action regarding approving monthly financial information as of April 30th, 2016. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Second somewhere.
Second.
Mr. Macias, go ahead, sir.
Yes, just a real quick question. I noticed on the financials that we had on the bond proposition for 2013, the $83 million that was allocated, but I see $87 million, which is a 4.4 differential. Dr. Montoya, if I could talk to Dr. Fields, just trying to get an idea of where that differential is.
Yes, sir. The original budget was for $60,022,000 for Mackey High School and $22,977,000 for Copperfield Elementary. The adjusted budget for Mackey, though, was $64.422 million, and that came from the $3.1 million for the subgrading of the football and soccer field. Well, the preparation of the football and soccer field, and then another $1.3 million for the subgrading of the softball and baseball field in the back. So that increase of $4.4 million is where that came.
And so that 4.4 was on this year's bond, right, 2016, to recoup those dollars?
Yes, sir. It was in Proposition 3. Had Proposition 3 passed, then that money would have been placed back into the fund.
Sure. All right, I just needed that clarification, and
Yes, sir.
I appreciate it. And what month did we pass that? I can't remember, where we passed and authorized it as a board.
I'd have to check with
Yeah,
Mr. Wells
it's
on
not,
this.
it's just, don't worry about it, but I know we did. Thank you.
But just for point of clarification, I just want to understand, though, that because Proposition 3 did not pass, those $4.4 million will not be coming back to the general fund at this time.
Yeah, of
Okay.
course, that's understood.
Yes, sir.
Anything else? All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. 4C, consider and take action regarding approving of expenditures equal to or greater than $50,000. Do I have a motion?
Motion.
Motion, Mr. Macias, second, Mr. Flores. Mr. Macias?
Yes, I was taking a look at some of these, and some of them stuck out. There's a EduSource Corporation purchase, Region 20, that's utilizing bond funds for $107,603. This is for furniture and fixtures related to the cafeteria and dining area of the new high school. What bond money is that coming from? 2013? Is it?
Yes, sir, that's correct.
Okay, okay, good. And then there's Truxell Communication Technology. We have a combination of local funds and IMA funds. I could not for the life of me figure out what IMA funds were, if you could explain.
It stands for Instructional Materials Allotment.
Okay.
Years ago, the agency, the state used to give us funds that were called the Technology Fund. They did away with that fund. They now call it the IMA funds, and they give an allocation to every school district for the biennium, and those are the funds that we're using for this particular purchase.
I see. Now, the local and IMA funds for this technology are buying 300 Chromebooks for the new high school, 430 Chromebooks for JECA and JSTEM. Are we going to purchase them for Wagner and Judson, or do they already have them?
I don't know the answer to that. Mr. Cortinas, do you know the answer to that?
No, sir, we're not purchasing. We're doing a one-to-one pilot with JECA this next year, so that's what those Chromebooks are for.
Thank you. I won't go too in-depth because, again, I don't want to get off the agenda, but just had questions about the specifics. I do have one last one. There was a payment to the College Board for $56,700 for payment for SAT examinations administered to all 11th grade students. Were they administered? Were all 11th grade students given an SAT exam?
Yes, sir, we do the SAT school day for all of the students, the 11th grade students.
And that's not pre-SAT, that was
That was
the
the SAT.
SAT exam.
The March administration, sir.
Okay. Well, thank you, that's all my questions.
Okay, all in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion carries. We're going to 5, Discussion, considerations of action items. Consider and take possible action regarding approving, dedicating the Park Village Elementary School Library in honor of Mrs. Janice LaFoyle. Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Second, okay. I put this on here, and I'll just kind of read the reason. Ms. LaFoyle has been a volunteer at Park Village Elementary School for 16 years. Her tireless efforts in our library has helped create a welcoming, engaging environment for students, staff, and community members. Ms. LaFoyle is always willing to help in any possible way. She is constantly organizing and updating books for our students and is happy to help students when selected a good book to read. Ms. LaFoyle is also an integral part of starting each school year. She has helped with textbooks inventory, volunteers to help teachers organize their classroom, as well as offers teacher suggestion when it comes to professional reading materials. Ms. LaFoyle is a key component to success of Park Village Elementary School. We're extremely fortunate to have her. Signed, Gray Madar, Principal, Park Village Elementary. And I would say a lot of times, Ms. LaFoyle, you know, we've had problems keeping librarians. And Mrs. LaFoyle, if you know anything about Park Village, she steps in and really does it for nothing. 16 years of volunteer work, 4 days, 5 days a week, you know, is pretty commendable. You know, that's some strong volunteering. So I put this on here. Any discussion, anyone? Anyone want to add anything? No? Okay. Yes, sir.
I asked Mr. LaFoyle earlier if she's going to be retiring. Ms. LaFoyle has done a lot of work at Park Village and for a long time. So he told me she's here for maybe 1 more year, is what he mentioned. So that'll be good for the students there at Park Village. And just in full disclosure, you know, Ms. LaFoyle is I'm not probably her favorite board member. She donated to my opponent last campaign, but I'm going to support this because she has done a wonderful job for our students, and it's not about that. But I think it's kind of funny when I think about things that, you know, we can take things personally sometimes, but at the end of the day, she's helped a lot of kids at Park Village. She's made a difference, and so I'll support this.
All in favor say aye. Aye. Any opposed? Motion passed. Mr. LaFoyle, you need to abstain.
He did.
Oh, he did? I didn't hear it. I didn't hear him. He stayed. Okay. Let's move on. 5B, consider and take possible action regarding approving of the contract renewal list for, didn't we do that?
Yeah.
That's part of it, right? We did part of that. We did all that, right? Okay. So we got all that.
No, B, yeah.
B,
you need to
we got to
B.
do B, right?
Yeah.
Everybody's
C,
saying
you did.
no.
C,
Yeah.
you did.
Yeah, C. Consider and take possible action regarding approving the contract renewal list for teachers, nurses, librarians, counselors, licensed specialists in schools, psychologists, speech pathologists, and campus and central office personnel and administrators for the 2016-2017 year. Can I have a motion?
Motion.
Second. Any discussion? All in favor say aye. Aye. Motion passes. We'll go to 5D, consider and take possible action regarding reorganization of Judson ISD Board leadership, President, Vice President, Secretary. I will turn it over to Dr.
I have a
McCoy.
question
Yeah.
before you turn that over. I think Assistant Secretary was left off.
Well, we never had one. We can add it.
We can do it.
We can do it if you want Assistant Secretary.
You gotta make a motion.
We got to make a motion to do that when we get to it.
So that is not an office.
We used to have one, it kind of went away over time, but if we want to add it, we can add it. That's all I needs a motion. We can make a motion, so,
It won't be necessary then.
okay.
Members of the board, at this time, I'd like to receive nominations for the office of President of the Judson ISD School Board. Do I have any nominations?
I'd like to nominate Steve Salyer as president of the board.
Do I have any other nominations?
I'd like to nominate Dr. Melinda Salinas as president of the board.
Okay.
You got to do one at a time.
Okay, then we'll go ahead and do any other, just for the record, any other nominations? Okay, at this time, we'll go ahead and do the voting on each one individually. Since Mr. Salyer, you were first nominated, all those in favor, please raise your hand for Mr. Salyer. Okay, well, okay, that's 5 there. Okay, now I have to, for the record, all those in favor for the board president for Dr. Salinas? That's 3. So, Mr. Salyer, congratulations
Thank you.
again. You will
Okay.
continue. I now turn the meeting back over to
Okay,
you.
thank you. I'll take nominations for Vice President of the board now.
I'd like to nominate Dr. Melinda Salinas for Vice President.
Anyone else? All in favor, say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Dr. Salinas, you're Vice President. There you go. I know, come on down. You don't have to sit next to Richard anymore, right? Okay, I'll take nominations for Secretary. Any nominations for Secretary?
I nominate Ms. Paschal for secretary.
Any other nominations? All in favor, say aye. Aye. Any opposed? No. Ms. Paschal, you're still Secretary. Thank you. We'll move on here. Okay, 6A, Superintendent Report.
Very briefly, this month has literally been very busy. We went to actually about 24 bond presentations. Some we were invited, some we forced our way in, but no matter what, we presented anyway. So we went from there. We did have a meeting, or I had a meeting with the commissioners from TEA, Higher Ed Coordinating Board, and the Texas Workforce Commission to look at ideas in the area of careers in the San Antonio area and school districts. I also participated in numerous ceremonies at JECA, JROTC, at the Region 20 at Trinity University, and also attended the JSTEM lottery. So there's been very busy activities. We went to the Wellness Appreciation Ceremony, the Alamo Academy's graduation ceremony, and I will say proudly, I did attend the National Day of Prayer. I think it's important we do that. And then I went to Texas A&M meeting. As you know, we've been fortunate that all our high schools have been designated early college. So we've been meeting with the Texas A&M University administrators and also with the Wayland Baptist and the Alamo colleges. So it's been a very busy month, very productive and very positive. Thank you.
Okay. 6C, discuss reviewing board agenda. Mr. Mencius.
Yes, just wanted to, I guess, revisit the idea. Not too long ago, we actually rotated board members for reviewing the agenda, and I always appreciate engaged board members. But I put this back on so we could revisit that schedule so that each board member has an opportunity to attend those type of meetings. So
you done?
Go ahead.
I talked to Mr. Mencius about that. I really don't care if we have a schedule. I mean, everybody's invited anytime they want to come to the agenda meeting, as long as we don't have 4 board members. But if you all want a list, I'll be happy to make a list, but still, the person on the list can come and the other 2 can come, so.
Well,
as long as we don't have
this
a-
is the dilemma. The dilemma is if I show up and I'm that 4th board member, I got to wrestle 2
that's
board
fine.
members out of there,
If
and
you
they may be
guys
like,
want a
I'm here,
list,
I ain't going anywhere.
I would be happy to make a list.
So
like
I
we
figure
did,
a list
Jackie.
would be at least a
And as
nice
long as
way.
there's not 4 people there, you can
Exactly.
come. I've opened it up to anybody wanting to come anytime, but if you
Yeah.
want to make a primary
What we did
list,
Before, Steve,
yeah, I know,
is we took and not, somebody's name was on there, they come that month,
yeah.
and then there wouldn't be 4 board members.
Right,
Yeah,
right. But you could call somebody else to come in your place. if
Yeah,
you're not gonna be
yeah.
here.
Yeah, then you lost the place, and then it didn't come up till next.
I could,
And a lot of it is also that you don't have it at the, it used to be when, when I would do it before, it was at 5:30 or 6, And now, I know that Steve, you have different work schedules, so sometimes you do it at 10 in the morning, sometimes you do it at, that's what that's turned around.
and that depends on when, when my schedule, Dr. McCoy's schedule,
Right.
plus, when the cabinet meets and what the cabinet's working on before we get. So if you want to make a schedule, I'll make a schedule, and everybody's welcome to come. How's that? Everybody happy?
Yeah, it's
Okay,
3,
we'll
yeah,
move-
4.
Yes, ma'am.
Even with the schedule, does it mean that another board member can't attend?
As long as there are not 4 board members, anybody can come. If there's 4 board members, somebody's got to leave,
Right.
okay?
Okay.
It's a responsibility of the board president and the superintendent to make the
Right, to
schedule,
set the agenda.
to set the agenda. But I've always welcomed anybody who wants to come, their input, it's no problem. Okay? Jackie, make a schedule, okay? See how easy that was?
Did we look
Okay.
at B already?
We skipped that one, yeah.
Presentation from Stephen Ringo?
Go ahead.
They're not.
No, they're not here this evening. We had members of the board, there were some parents that called with concerns early in the day on weather, so we said we'll just reschedule them in a future date.
I think we ought to have them, every meeting. One from
We're
one
going.
school, take one from Wagner, take one from Judson. I mean, have them come in here You know,
They've
they've
been
been
doing
talks
that
too.
every month.
Yeah, they've been coming every month, but if they're gonna, if you want them to say a comment or something, we can do that too. Yeah, we can do that.
Do you want to do construction?
Mr. or Dr. Fields, if you want to give us a brief status on the construction piece, I think that was the last piece we didn't cover.
Yes, sir. We're about 98% complete with the Mackey High School project. The big construction update is on the 24th and 25th of this month. The fire marshal will be out there doing the inspections in a team of about 11 other people to complete the certificate of occupancy. So by the evening of the 25th, we should be cleared for move-in, which would probably start the first week of June. Yes, sir.
My understanding on the memo is said May 17th.
It
They haven't
did.
come by?
They rescheduled, sir.
Oh, thank
They
you.
rescheduled.
Oh, I just want to make sure.
Yes, sir.
Mr. Fields, I'd like to go out before they go out, and I'll bring my little book with me.
Understood. Do the punch list? Understood. Yes, sir.
Dr. Montoya,
Yes, sir.
on the bond issue that we just passed, when are we going to be looking out to sell these bonds?
We are actually meeting here in the next few weeks. Obviously, the board is well aware that we have to sell the bonds as quickly as possible. The other piece, and I know we've talked a little bit, is the ideal situation is to, at this point, because interest rates are low, if we can sell the whole group to these various processes that we have, it would be better, because we don't know, the feds fluctuate the interest rate, and a year from now, 6 months from now, it could be higher, and obviously we'll lose a lot of money there. So we're cognizant of that, and I think Mr. Elizondo, I don't know if you set some meetings here shortly, but that's the route we want to take.
We have, sir. We set a meeting for next week already. We're asking the facilities planning folks to set a timeline for us so we know when they're going to start building facilities, to make sure that we have, for some bond issues, we have to make sure that within 3 years we complete the most of the work if we can. So we're trying to make sure we meet those deadlines. And also what we have available right now is some opportunities for some bond refundings.
Right.
So even though we asked the taxpayers for permission to spend up to 8 cents for this particular bond, these particular bonds, our goal is always to keep that tax rate as low as possible. So we're going to combine the refundings with the sale of the new bonds, and we've done that many times in the past, to make sure that we try to keep that tax rate level and as low as possible throughout the year. So we're going to look at different scenarios with that and discuss with Dr. Montoya, and we'll bring it back to the board and see what y'all think.
Thank you. Just to make other board members aware that the index right now is at 2.45, which is the lowest it's been since the index was started in 1992. It's a good time to sell.
And again,
For
if we
30
could
years.
sell it as a group, it's to the benefit of the taxpayer as well as the district, because again, the Fed sets up the rates over time, and it's probably gonna go up sooner or later, so.
Anything else? Okay, let's do D, update on board activities, and E, let's do those together. They usually come together anyway. So, Mr. Flora, go ahead.
Mr. Elizondo, have you, you didn't provide us with the information on the internal audit.
We have the draft report. We received it on either Monday or Tuesday. We're just making sure, looking through it, and then we should give it to you by next week.
Okay, thank you. You're the bean talker. You're the vice president.
Any update training conferences, Mr. Flora?
No, we got SLI coming up next month.
In San Antonio.
Here in San Antonio on the 16th, 17th, and 18th, and then the following week in Fort Worth. I don't know who's going to what, but it's, everybody that's been to it knows about it, and it's a good deal, so. I'm trying to think what else. We all know about the decision of the Supreme Court, talking to TASB people and TEA, they've been, it's like I told Jim Crow, the director of TASB, I said, we know where we're at now. Before, we didn't know where we were. We know where we're at, and we know what we have to do. The legislators took away $5 billion in 2011, and they only have given us back $3 billion. The legislators I've spoken with, I told them, just give us back the other $2 billion, you'll put us at least to 2006 level of funding, so hopefully that will come around, but you never know. You gotta call your legislators and tell them, hey, you know, that's what it takes. People calling them and saying, we need to get this money back to the schools. So, that's it.
Again, very quickly, the Texas Supreme Court ruled a week ago that the funding process for public schools in Texas was constitutional and legal, and they put it on the Texas legislature saying, you guys figure this out. And this is the first time literally in 30 years that the Texas Supreme Court has sided that way. It's always been the other way, telling the public and the legislators there's a major problem here, you need to fix this, this, and this. But this time they basically totally backed away from that decision, saying, yeah, everything's fine, but legislators, you need to do something. So I think we will see, we hope, in the next year or so, as the new legislative session comes on board, some movement on funding for public schools. And of course, we need help from the public and everybody on that picture, so I'm sure you'll hear more.
Dr. Montoya, they said that the Supreme Court, Texas Supreme Court said, yes, they're meeting the minimum requirements.
Yeah.
And I believe you said, you go ahead and tell them, sir.
Yeah, one of the rulings was that public schools are meeting the minimum, and I shared a story. I said, would you folks in this audience like to be on an airliner traveling where the pilot meets minimum standards? I don't think so. You want to have surgery? Do you want a doctor with meets minimum standards? I don't think so. And we're in the same boat in the public schools. We don't need minimum standards. We need to go higher and find money to help our kids and staff.
Thank you, sir.
Mr. Salinas, anything?
No, we attended the TASB. What was that, Dr. Salinas? You were there too. I'm having a senior moment.
Who drove?
Thank you, sir. It was
Jackie,
a
what was it?
cooperative, it was a cooperative with the business partners.
Oh,
Yeah. Ms. Bashaw?
Yes, I was there too. With the business luncheon, and it was a great luncheon. I got a lot from that. And also, I attended on Saturday the culminating picnic that the dual language parents had. And I got a chance to meet with dual language parents and talk to them about their program. That's all.
Thank you. Mr. Macias, anything?
Yes, sir. I didn't realize I was doing this when I signed up for training, but I attended Region 1's training last weekend, and I didn't realize I was really crashing the party. I was the only person from Region 20.
Right.
But I'm going to tell you, it was a really good experience because a lot of the board members I saw there are from the south part of our state that I don't typically meet with or see unless I see them in June for our summer leadership. So it was good to have dialogue with them and the issues that they're experiencing in South Texas. But that's also where Dr. Montoya came from. So everyone saw Judson, Dr. Montoya, a lot of praise for him down there. So it was just positive to see people that he's worked with and have dialogue about things. And we're all the same state, so we're all in the business together. And so these conferences are invaluable because you get that perspective.
Mr. LaFoyle?
The only thing I did was went to the JLA today giving out checks.
Jeff was today.
We keep to each other, a lot of great checks.
Dr. Salinas? Good, okay. This has been a busy week for us. We had a budget meeting on Tuesday night. Last night, if you didn't attend the art show at Rolling, I was there 3 hours just walking around. I'm not just talking about the art. I'm talking about the xylophones, the strings, the drums, the pottery. I mean, anybody says we're not doing something right in this district, just go to that fair. I mean, I went there for 3 hours and I didn't see everything. And the music was good and they had little strings. So, that's a showcase of what we did. And we took over that mall. We took that mall over. I don't know how much money we gave them, but we took over that mall. I think they like us because we spend money.
Mr.
Yeah,
Sellier,
yeah.
I think they've done this for a couple of years.
Yeah, this is about fifth
Maybe
year,
it's
I
time
think.
that this board recognize the mall and maybe give them a certificate or something.
Yeah, well, we'll do that. It's part of Simon Youth Foundation, which is,
I
but through
understand
the
that.
art thing.
I understand that, but
Okay, yeah,
maybe
we'll-
that would be a nice
We'll do that.
gesture.
Yeah, we'll do that.
Thank
Okay.
you, sir.
And then today, like Mr. Macias there, the Jeff, man, it was raining. but we gave out a lot of money and a lot of happy teachers today that were really surprised. And went to retirement dinner. You know, every place I go, Dr. Latoya is there. You know, the retirement dinner, he was there. You know, we ate a lot of green beans the last couple of weeks. Trust me, okay? So that's about it. Any yes, Ms. Bashant?
I just want to say to Dr. Montoya, thank you very much, sir, for the acknowledgement that was in the newspaper, acknowledging to the community our support for the bond. I thank you for that, sir.
You're welcome.
I'd like to put on the next agenda revisiting the art teachers.
Okay.
We need to talk
Oh,
about
no.
that. Any problem with me? Well, at the time when we got rid of them, we didn't have.
Well, we didn't have the money. I mean, people were here, know there was no money for the art teacher. You had to keep, I got beat up last night by a third grade teacher at Crestview. It used to be an art teacher. Okay. Anything else? This meeting's adjourned at 10:07.